Shall we start doing the talk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just ignore the camera.
Okay.
The usual. Thanks for coming.
It's all good.
First thing I wanted to ask you about, seeming as we're in a shop full of synths, is not synths.
Wicked.
The Amiga, where did that start?
The good old Amiga. Yeah, that was one of the first bits of equipment I got. Sorry, I'm talking to Mike. One of the first bits of equipment I got when I was really young, say like 11 or 12. I didn't even know that it made music. It was basically an upgrade from the NES at the time. Remember the original Nintendo with Mario 2 on it. Mario 2. So it was like an upgrade, like, I'm getting a home computer. And then I found, I used to go and buy these discs from car boot sales and stuff like that in markets, and there was a little demo scene. So it was all these graphics that were made on the Amiga with music. This is obviously way before YouTube and anything like that. So it was like, I can watch like a demo on my computer. This is great. On there would be sounds, and these sounds could be like saved and put into another program. And this is what blew my mind. I found out there was a program called Optimed, and you could essentially sequence music together on what is known as a tracker. So yeah, I had that very early on, and through the demo scene kind of found out that, I can use this thing to express myself as a young boy wanting to make music. So yeah, it gave me the means to do that, collecting sounds. So it was by luck, really.
Yeah.
It kind of, that it came to having it to make music.
I guess, so what was it that it was bought for you to to play games?
Yeah,
to keep you distracted as a kid.
Sure, there. You know what I mean? I think I said this before, Captain Planet, they all had branded packs of games, there was the Simpsons one, the Lemmings one, and the Captain Planet
Lemmings.
one. Yeah, original Lemmings, right? Yeah, but there's so many, Commodore as a company, incredible, right? The geezers that made C64 and those original SID chips, they came from, was it EMU? I'm pretty sure it was from EMU. There's a link, and if it's not EMU, it's a company, I think it might be, but those guys were in a dedicated music company who made the chips for the C64, and Commodore as a company I loved, thought they were brilliant. So many amazing games, and at the forefront of graphics and music at that point in the late 80s and early 90s.
Yeah, so I've spent hours mining. I was slightly behind my time. I was early 2000s, but sort of mining archive.org and finding all the old computer game mags, and some of the shit you get in there where they're right, here's how you code this game. So
obviously some really cool.
I remember it used to be difficult. Making playing games used to be a challenge. So I remember coming from similarly was introduced to trackers quite early in my music.
Okay.
Yeah,
Which
Renoise.
Renoise.
I think maybe it was 14, 15. There's a guy that I used to work with who was basically super into them. And I was sort of looking at it, and coming from a guitar background, a guitar and bass background, I was how start you use this spreadsheet to make tunes?
Yeah, it does
look. It completely changes the way you think about it.
Yeah, I think they're brilliant because they make you focus on edits and arrangement, which is great. Instead that you've got the classic Cubase or whatever where you're copying in bits of chunks of music, it makes you hone in on how you're going to arrange a track. And I think because it's all made in little bits of blocks in a tracker, so you choose how many lines that you want, and then you just make it in little blocks and variant. So when you go in, you can, if you've ever seen Renoise, check it out, and you can especially if you're making jungle, do all the snare rolls, reverse them, whatever you need to do. It's just, I feel it pushes you because of the limitation of what you can do, especially with the Amiga on being 4 channels. You hone in on arrangement and edits, and so it's a bit daunting at first. But imagine it's just, if Cubase or Logic, you're making something that way, you're just making a bar of music that way.
Yeah, it's that forcing you to break out the loop cycle of it says one thing with doing the old traditional left to right door thing. You're I've got 64 bars of absolute fucker.
I can loop that for 8 hours.
I'm going to loop that, I'm going to listen to it, I'm going to take it out, I'm going to put it back in, and then I'm never going to bounce it or do anything with it. So actually you've got 4 tracks.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer that all good tunes can be made in 8 tracks or less.
Yeah, well look, bass player, drummer, guitar player, singer, it's, just because it's electronic music and we can add a million tracks, get the basics right, get the core of what you're doing right. Works for a lot of things in life, cooking, whatever, all art, get the core fucking spot on.
Yeah,
that'll push you in, again, as a limitation to maybe do that.
Yeah, the cooking analogy is always one I come back to, because it's like, if you put...
Buy the good tomatoes!
If you put 20... if you put 20 ingredients in a soup, it's going to taste like shit.
Yeah, definitely.
But if you got like 5 really good and like quality ones, maybe you've done a bit of prep.
So let's talk about our favourite soups right now.
Go on. Favourite soup?
What's my favourite soup?
Chorizo tomato stuff.
Chorizo and tomato. Thank you very much, Cameron Pride. Yeah.
Fair, that's a rogue one.
And then what's the broccoli one? Broccoli and Stilton.
Broccoli and Stilton.
Broccoli and Stilton.
Yeah.
That's my 2 favourite soups. Obviously.
I like French onion.
Bad boy, yeah.
It's easy to make. It's good. It's good, but in a way where it feels bad. It's just so much better.
Yeah. Well, I was out to Leeds recently. I had some good old onion soup. And the cassoulets. Shout out to the cassoulets. That's it. Very good stuff.
What's casserole?
Cassoulets. It's casserole.
It just sounds like a French casserole.
What's your cassoulets? It was a big leg of duck and the meats and the rice, and it's all just cooked forever and all blends together. It's just French food. It's just shit, isn't it? Anyway, food, music.
Yeah. It's the same thing. It's all the same thing,
Kind of. Where we're at, so we're on Amigas and Renoise.
Amigas, Renoise. Track limits. What's your average track count for making a tune? Because I'm curious, because I've spoken to some people who are like, they're like, I've got 30 tracks just for my kick drum, and some people who are like, 1 track, stereo stem, all I've recorded, that's it.
If I'm using the modular, I like to. Do you want
to go through?
It's all good. It's all good. If I'm using the modular, I like to record it as like a conversation, as a bit, just as a piece of music, and just leave it. Then I will add to it. Obviously, I'll do like a breakdown, take the drums out, do this, but you use it as pieces and going in. So I enjoy that a lot because it's just adding to what I'm doing here and not making it too complicated. But I've making advert music before. I do quite a bit of that. That can get serious because it needs to be of a certain level. I like rago music, just get it in how it feels, just get it happening, make it work. But if I'm doing work for a client, it's going to be grouping everything and making sure everything's tidy and sorting it out. So it does depend on what you're doing, but mainly making jungle and hardcore, 20, 30 tracks. Yeah, something like that. I do it. Get quite lazy. Instead of automating things, I just do duplicate tracks and just change the track. It's like, because the CPU can handle it these days, so that builds up a bit. But yeah, 20, 30. What about you?
Like maybe 8 maximum.
Oh, you keep it like that?
Yeah. I went through a long period of just everything was live jams. So it goes in 1 stereo track, slap the, what's it called? Nice Mix Plus 1 preset that I made years ago on it. Done. And only recently, I've got a few more bits of kit in the studio. I've got an actual keyboard that can do chords now.
Oh,
so it's like, you sort of do the like tear out electro thing. You go, it's maybe a bit too rough. Maybe it just needs a nice.
Yeah. Not even wah, just
just 2 notes.
Yeah, 2 notes.
2 notes.
Get the 5th song.
Sorted. Working for clients, doing music for other people.
Yeah.
When did that come about?
Through necessity of the society we live in, where money rules. Need trying to exist as a musician and getting some money and just using the skills or transferring it. So I've done a lot of advert music and done some film music, and it's quite a ruthless industry because you don't always get these things, but you've always got to keep trying. It's like I'm doing a Subway one tomorrow. Anyway, but I'll let you say that.
Cool.
Yeah, it came about, I think it was about 12 years ago, and it was just, as I say, needing to kind of like spin many plates to exist as a musician, as a full-time professional musician. So I'm doing adverts, running a couple of labels, Jungle One, M4 Records, Melon Records, Hip Hop One, doing adverts, DJing, performing, doing lecturing, and also like making my own synths, companies like Polyend and things like that. Just, I'm into it all. I enjoy it all. Sample packs, whatever we can do.
It's so many hats getting these days.
Yeah, it is.
I think some people are very lucky to just be like, I just DJ, and that's it.
Yeah.
That pays the bills. But I think for the majority of, at least working musicians that I know, and people are super shocked that everyone's got like many pots on the whole. To go back to the cooking.
Oh yeah, many pots.
Many pots.
That's true. It's very true. It's very true.
Yeah. Is there? Do you enjoy the sort of like slipping into like, okay, and now I'm in like composing music for film mode?
I do.
Or does it feel like a bit of a like, okay, I've got to rein in the like raggo jungle and hardcore energy and like channel it?
Because it's getting transferred to it. But I like it because when those companies come through, it's like an email comes in, so you got to drop everything. I like it that we're going this way and that way. Right, today we're gonna have to make something that sounds like. There's always a lot of buzzwords in the. It's going to be sexy, quick, and fast, but slow at the same time. It sounds like Beyonce. Right, cool, I've got it. So, but I know what they mean because when we went to music college, went to Leeds College of Music, and we did those lessons where you did audio to visual. And at the time, I didn't really like it, but it kind of put me in good stead to understand hit points and what's going on and how to actually do it. So, yeah, I enjoy it all. If I don't enjoy it, I'm not fucking doing it. So it's like, but luckily I'm bang into it, and the synths and the modular as well. Into that. But that you can get lost for hours. Obviously, as you know, it's like I've just been jamming for 4 hours.
Oh no, I came in this shop 10 years ago, and I haven't left since. Basically. So go on then. Let's talk about the modular. Where did your modular journey start?
Oh my god! Right, okay. Yeah, it's a shout out to my best mate Luke. He's been talking about like starting modular for ages. We've always had like outboard synths and old bits of kit. You know, it's quite an extensive studio, but we're always like looking at the modular like, if I start that, it's opening the can of worms in it. And me and him had been talking about it for ages, and he was like, oh, and I just went and bought a PAMS and a couple of other little bits, and like my first box, what's it called, the Arturia box.
Rack Group.
That's it. And I just got it, and I just sent him a picture. He's like, you can't start this without me. So I don't know. I needed to try it. I just wanted to try it. I used to come in here because we'd always do gigs at the attic down there. Yeah. And I'd come in here and I'd be like, I'm very much into music production and the whole world of all of it. And I'd come in here and I'd be lost. And I was like, I don't know, man. I need to know. So it started and then it continued, and it was a lot of, looking on the internet like, wow, what does this stuff do? It's just beautiful. And I came in here, and I don't know if you remember, you showed me a Q-bit chord.
Yes.
And we did a sequence
We did the Rave chords.
Yeah. But then you showed me it has 3rd, 5th, and 7th out, and you threw that into a steppy. And so the chord riff would go like that, and then the steppy, you can just tap in notes over the top.
Yeah.
And I just looked at him and went, I will have one of those. I will have one of them. But good demo. Demo. That's how you do it, man. I literally was like, here's the money, let's go.
That's my job.
Very good at the job.
What do they say, 10,000 hours doing something?
That's
Get
it.
the hang of it.
Yeah, 10,000 hours of French soup.
Yeah. French soup and noodling on the modular. And people going, I want one. Have you got a standout at the moment? You got one that's your like the boy in the rack, your favourite?
Oh, it's, you know what? Old school Elements. Remember Elements?
Elements, yeah.
Well, I've got one of those, and I've just using that this morning. Like, because it's so delicate. You've got to you can't. It's not like a big filter. It's like, this literally changes it.
Yeah, you can't.
Just something I was learning about modular. It's not. It's the increments. So it can change it so much, which I find is great for recording. So Elements. I love the EO Wave Swarm because it's you know, I shout to Mylar Melodies, he got me onto that one. I watched his review of that. I was like, I'll have that. That's stupid. It's like Techno Gone.
He's another one for that. The amount of times we'll get like, you know, we'll sell out of something, or we'll get loads of people find out, when are you getting this back in? On the chat, like, why is everyone suddenly want this much straight on YouTube? Being like, let's have a video on it.
Shout to my guy, he's a top boy. He's going to get me on his podcast one day, we'll make it happen. So that, and then I've got the DFAM, which is just dirty, isn't it? It's
Another
just
classic.
Ridiculous. Cubic chord. One that people, I don't know, I don't get much. Erica Synth's graphic VCO.
Underrated.
Yeah.
Super underrated.
Rave stabs. All like, it's really naughty.
Really?
It's really sharp, and the LFO just to move the waveform, wow, and then you just layer it with a sub because it has a 2 output. What I'm using to control it all is the Endorphins ground control, which I love to bits. So it feels really basic. Like you can just make a lot of rave riffs in it. It does random patterns. It's just quick. It's just really quick. So, and other bits that I've got in there, not to go on.
Give us a rundown.
Yeah, just the whole thing. I think that's most of it. Sample drum, Erica synths, and I bought one of those nifty keys recently as well to put the modules into play direct. So I've got more channels because I don't have like an Arturia or anything like that.
I mean, between that and the ground control, so you mostly doing like keys based, sort of like right in with that like 12 tone scale.
Or the Metropolix, because that is very special. That linked with the EO Wave to actually, because it only has 8 sequences. It just goes on and on. It's like, oh, that's a bit boring. Get that to run with the Metropolix and then change it, and then that thing is very special. Yeah, with that, it's just the alterations it can do, variant, and it has 2 channels, one can run backwards and forwards, and if you've got a couple of oscillators put together, it's beautiful. Stop talking. Your guy.
I can't believe someone's out talking.
Sorry,
This is my territory. No, I mean, so coming back to the sort of like keys and ground control and that sort of like the nifty keys and that. I haven't tried one of those out yet, but they look pretty fun.
Yeah.
I know there's been like loads of variations of people where they're like, it's a keyboard with a row above it. There's been a few of those over the years. And it always looks, I'm not a keys guy.
It looks cool.
I'm a sequencing guy. I can't play them. I had to teach myself how to play like a handful of basic scales when people come in and they're like, oh, how does the Super 6 work? And it's not you going.
Literally what I played before. Yeah. Nice. Whatever it is, however you're gonna get by and do what you do.
Did you like learn? Did you have like any traditional music background before you got on the computer?
My dad's a musician. He was in bands in the 70s. Had records out, and then when I came along, he left the guitars around the house, kind of like trying to encourage me. But I wanted to play the piano, so I had piano lessons from the age of 5. Just the geezer next door who. My dad knew it was, it's from Blackpool, working class background, geezer next door. I could teach him a bit of piano, and then it taught me a little bit of sight reading and understanding major and minor and learning your scales and your flats and your sharps, basic stuff. But, I did I got to grade 5, so enough so I could get into university to, understand basic kind of music theory. So that was in place when I was little, but it all kind of veered off when I got to about 9 or 10, and I got a DX7 from the local junk shop. My dad was like, "Oh,
go on! How much did you pay for it?"
No, it was still quite a bit then. I think it was like 300 quid.
Oh, fair.
Which is But my dad was like, "Oh, we make you sell one of these. They're brilliant." And I was like, what's FM synthesis? I'm 9. I don't understand what the hell
what's
an
frequency
algorithm
modulation.
Why are these sine waves all joined together? It was, but you just experiment and just keep pressing all the buttons until you figure out maybe that you don't know what you're doing in synthesis that young. But I was like, I need to understand this, and that was when I said, got the Amiga, I was making more stuff using the DX7 combined with it, and I wanted to go with music in college after that. So he was like, yeah, just go and do it. He encouraged it, which absolutely great for.
Yeah, I mean that's how you get, because we can usually get people in and they're like, oh yeah, I want to get my kids into music. How do I do it? And I'm like, just leave things around for them to play with. Don't put anything in their hands. Just literally, if they find something and they go blink blink blink, and you go do it again, they're gonna just not want to do it. It's just gotta let them find their own way. And it's one of the great joys of having a shop that's just like open all the time for this, because we get like, there's about how many like 5 came in and just like hammering all the keys. And so I imagine it was her mum was like, oh no, it's just a bit noisy, it's a bit loud, and I'm like, go crazy.
You can do it.
And it's so much fun, and I always find that, like, especially at that age, kids just like louder, faster.
Definitely.
Like, kids aren't making drone, kids are making donk.
It's true. I've said this before in an interview, but like my dad he gave me some records when I was really little, so like 3, because he's a record player and some of his old records. I used to put everything on 78, so it was like Jimi Hendrix going, and he'd come back in, put it back to like 33 or whatever it was. So he'd go out and put it back to. So you're right there. Yeah.
It's early signs, I think.
Yeah, smack it and bang it.
Where was your first experience of jungle and with hardcore?
Yeah. It's there was, like, we used to have these tapes, Hit the Decks, like my mate's Chris Morgan, shout to those guys, had like little bits of rave that was in the charts in 92, Ace and SL2, all that stuff, and like, I think I like this dancey stuff, and it was called dance, but it was like everything was labelled as rave, and I was like, rave, what is this? I'm only like 10. And then went to secondary school, and people started swapping tapes. Someone lent me an Easy Groove tape, and it was thrashing jungle and techno from 92, and kind of from there it was just right. Who's got the tapes? Let's swap them, and understanding what this even is, because I didn't even know what a rave was. Like, oh my god, right, so they're in a room and they're dancing to this music. That's pretty cool. Can I go? Oh no, shit. So yeah, just swapping tapes at school, and then finding like the one independent shop in Blackpool where I'm from that actually sold those tapes was like a revelation. It's like, oh shit, I can buy them. Dad, can I borrow £6? No. So yeah, that really. What about you?
My introduction to, like, I guess, jungle. So weirdly, my dad was super into like a similar like 90s dance.
Nice.
Like wasn't by the time that like the acid house era had really booted off, he was already like a kid and wasn't going out raving. I don't think Melon, he's got a smiley face tattoo on his arm. I don't think he's ever been to like a rave. He just loves the culture. But we had like Ministry of Sound CDs and covers, 90s dance concept. And I was like a die-hard metal kid, like metal and punk. So it used to go on and go, shoot happy music. And then like after a while it sort of bedded in, and then it got introduced to sort of Square Pusher. And about like 13, and I was like, I love my like techie metal. And it was like, it's
a crossover.
It's kind of like metal. It's like fast and technical, but there's just no one shouting about, Satan. It's just sort of the occasional vocoder voice going. It's like my little brain was like, yeah, this is whatever it is. This is doing it.
Yeah, that's working. What type of? I mean, the other stuff I would ever listen to was in maybe that realm was Pantera and Sepultura and stuff like that.
We had Igor Cavalera at the shop recently. It's the only time I've ever fanboyed. All of my many years of working here.
How did you handle that?
I was in a meeting and I got a message on. Shouts to anybody who voices. But I got a message on like Instagram that was like, "Hi, I'm just about to pop into the shop," and I like shut that meeting down immediately. It was like, "Guys, this is so important." And I did the thing where I was kind of into the thing like, "Yeah, I'm doing this a long time. I want to check this out. I want to patch this up," and then occasionally I'd turn around and go. And be like,
yes.
But this is part of the job. I think everyone on some level will always, there's always that one person,
Oh,
hero, where you're just like, I can't
do this.
We had, when Imogen Heap did Machina Bristolica, she did Pound Talk last year. That was the one. She did the glove.
Oh, that's
and that
amazing,
glove, I watched the glove video when I was in college. And that was the thing where I went, I want to do music tech forever. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. So Hamish was like, Imogen's coming through for the Power Torch. You want to come and say hi?
Yes,
like,
I do.
No.
No.
I was like, no. I was like, I will just stand there and dribble on the floor and not know what to say, and then just go, oh, I think you're really, really cool, and then I'll just run out the room. I won't be able to handle it.
Oh, God.
I've never had a go on the gloves. I really want it. Have you?
No. I mean, maybe we should explain it. It's like, it's not just a pair of gloves. it's a MIDI controlling glove, right?
Yeah.
Where you can put CCs to it to do different things, or
And
is it
it's
actually
like
sequences?
wireless, and then it uses the version of it that I remember going back like 15 years. I've done myself a lot of memory damage since then. But going back sort of and trying to remember this video, but there's like a Kinect camera on the stage that measures position. You move into different parts of the stage, and then on one of them it's like you step into one little back corner of the stage, and then it will track your movements. So you play the drums, and then you go into the middle, and you can do like it's like an X, Y, Z, like
You just do sub basses. Yeah, maybe you need a sock. You can do like a sub bass with your sock.
Maybe we need
So
to
you do
expand
Amens
this.
with your gloves, and then you've got a hat on, and just doing this though. Just making jungle.
It's the one. It's like the one person band scenario, but you've just got various accessories on.
Yeah, it's the whole suit. It's the
I think
MIDI
it's
suit.
doable. I think you can.
Imogen, hit us up. Let's do the full suit.
There's a collaboration ready to go. Yeah, I think it's just you flashing around this. Have you got one of those? Have you got a hero who you'd be like, if you have them?
Yeah, it's going to be some of the rave dudes, isn't it, really? Like,
Yeah, I had a podcast with Billy Bunter the other week, and I'm usually like, just talk, and then we'll be fine, whatever. So it was a bit like, yeah, cool. And I like stuttered on a couple of questions, like, yeah, shout to Bunter. Then maybe someone, I don't know, like, yeah, you know what, it'd be Liam, wouldn't it, from the Prodigy era. Even though I've done a remix for the Prodigy before, but I never met him, it was working with a band called Pen Shui. We did a remix. I'm one of the producers for them. And we did a remix for him, which was absolutely incredible to remix the Prodigy. What getting on it. But yeah, I've never met him. But maybe that'll be a bit like that. Maybe I shouldn't say that because maybe I'll meet him. Liam from the Prodigy is the answer. Anyway, we'll go with that.
The options are either you meet him and you're fine, or you meet him and you're weird, but it's fine because you know you're going to be weird.
Yeah.
So you've saved us.
who would you get on with loads alternatively? I mean, I was thinking, do you reckon, ooh, we'd be Bezzers? Was that?
Yeah, maybe A-Fest to it.
I was pleasantly
He's a good lad.
I was pleasantly surprised meeting Gerald Donald, Drexia, Doppler Effect, Robbie Nebby for the festival. They came in, they were in super early for a sound check, and someone was like, "Ben, can you go and pick up Gerald and Tony from the hotel?" And I was like, "That's a 10-minute walk with the guy from Doppler Effect." And then we just talked about NASA.
Wonderful.
It was really nice, and I think just that, like, anyone who makes tunes where there's like a really strong, like, nerdy science fiction, or like meeting other people, like, I'm super into horror movies, so meeting other people who make tunes and then actually doing the thing where you just don't talk about music.
That's
quite nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that's the thing that people talk about what you want to, but like, yeah, you don't want to just go, I really like that. So it's like, just no.
That middle eight on the tune that you released 12 years ago, there's a filter sweep on it. What's it do?
All right, who would you want to meet? In fact, I'll go with that one. I want to meet Look Mum, No Computer.
Oh, you two would get on like a house on fire.
He's brilliant. I love watching his videos. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
In every realm.
You got to go down to the museum.
Yeah, it's close by. Where is it? Is it
Margate area?
Margate,
Somewhere
yeah.
near there.
Because
Margate's popping off at the moment.
got the moped rented for the summer, so you know, I've been riding around.
There you go, you got that little summer pad.
Oh, I love it, summer bed.
You're going to get your full
CBT.
quadrophenia on.
Yeah, like me and Dyke have been riding around everywhere. Dirty Dyke. And yeah, we've just, you know, been doing the coasts, going around, doing Brighton. So maybe I'll go to that museum, but
Yeah.
look, Mum No Computer, I loved his TED Talk, you know, positive procrastination. Yeah, obviously all the therapies can synth bite the fire and inspire synths.
There's no
Like,
end
it
to...
just goes on and on and on.
I'm a
To
big
maintain
fan.
maintain that level of fucking creativity is probably unparalleled, really. Isn't it?
I'm a big fan of just the energy about being like, I've had this idea, I'm gonna make it,
Go
and
on
I'm
with
gonna find a way to, rather than just like, I gave it a crack and it didn't really work. It's like, didn't work, why didn't it work? Let's find a way to do this.
Absolutely, and that's part of fun, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's got this like nice like outside, because a lot of people go on the internet, they talk about synths, and it's, you know, most of the audience is people who are into synths. I remember sort of like telling mates about the festival like this like last year, and they were like, you've got to look on computer, like friends who like don't care about this.
Yeah,
They don't care don't
it.
even care about electronic music. They're like the Furby organ guy from YouTube.
Yeah.
They were like, is he going to bring the Furby organs?
Hey, he made a set of decks out of some Lego, right? Remember that? He did.
I didn't see
But
that.
that's just unreal. Yeah, wonderful stuff. What about you?
Oh,
Who do you want to meet? You know,
who do I want to
be
be?
sound like in your...
Morton Morton got to be. I saw him play in London a few years ago, and it was like just being in the same room as him. It's like, this man is like living electronic music history, and I want to know, because like there's so much mythology and rumor about those like early like San Francisco like sort of Grateful Dead. What were the merry pranksters used to have in the Kool-Aid? But like there's so much mythology around that, and I kind of want to talk to someone who was there and be like, what was it like being at that like Big Bang founding moment of like so much counterculture and weird music, and like doing like, because from my understanding that was some of the first times that like experimental electronic music was done like to an audience who were like really receptive to it, rather than just like it's in some like university hall and everyone's very like, there's people with lab coats going, yes, music concrete, love music concrete, no shade.
Music concrete.
But the first time where it was like being played to a room full of people who were just like losing their minds, I mean that's a free party.
Yeah.
That's a rave.
Yeah.
That's, you know, 90s.
What years is that again?
Late 60s, I think. Yeah, late 60s, maybe 67 to 60 million, Southern Beach.
Oh, yeah, like, as I said, on Music Concrete, Pierre Schaeffer and all that good, weird music electronica. And, you know, there's lots to find out, you know. I'm still digging those records, you know, even Stockhausen, classic stuff, but it's bloody great. Lots of tape splicing. Maybe I want to get back into tape splicing.
Ooh, yeah.
That'd be good fun.
That'd be good fun. That's a way to make you be like, right, I've got my computer, I'm going to go one step down, I'm going to make it longer, I'm going to go for the Amiga, I'm going to go even further back.
Yeah.
It's that, I've just seen that meme where someone's like, oh, you know, the Jungle Break samples me, but then he ends up
Goes back all the way back to
Yeah.
well, you didn't make the drum kit. Yeah, well, you didn't make the actual skins. Yeah, well, you did. Yeah. But I've seen a module that was just a tape. It was the tape, and the CV could control the speeds of it and stuff.
Yeah,
well, that was pretty cool.
There was
It looked great as well.
There was a T-Rex replicator, which is I think like a tape delay, and then Jack bin Mr. Beat Boop, who his workshop is upstairs. So now I think he's moving out at the moment to pastures greener. But yeah, he does like it's called the U-tape scrubber, and it's like a micro dictaphone tape. And you record onto it. It's so good.
Yeah,
and it's been nice because we've seen so many revisions of it over the years.
Yeah, that's true.
Coming in on Monday, it's been like, I've been awake all weekend, but I finished version 5. You kind of play with it, and you're like, how does this keep getting better from like, little mini tape dictaphone. They sound
Yeah.
terrible.
Oh, it's a stylized sound, though, isn't it? It's brilliant. There's a company, it's battery operated, who gave me one recently, and it's got pitch control on it, and you just feel the can planches up. Idea for a show. So I recorded into it and then just plug it in the modular and go through the granular and everything, and then it sounds fucking brilliant.
Easily.
Yeah, what else?
What else was I going to say there? I had something else.
Oh yeah, just on tapes, I just got a set of cassette turntables. Yeah, I know I haven't told anyone because so many people ask me, but I'll say it. It's a geezer in Japan who's making bespoke cassette turntable, and it's got like a stop, like a 1210. You can pitch it as well, so you can mix it. And then it's got these two little circular things that go on because the deck is open, the tape essentially. So you can fast forward, pull the tape like that, cue it like a turntable, and go.
No way.
Are these the mega industrial looking ones?
Silver
They're
boxes.
Like
No, I've seen that mega industrial thing. It's all in one mixer, but these are just plug them into your decks. Yeah, and so it's now encouraged a stupid tape collection. I just bought 100 Bollywood tapes from the 80s and 90s the other day. I'm just like, no.
Yes, I've been buying job lot tapes for a while off eBay. You get some gold.
There's just some interesting music. That it was somebody's like. I mean, you got to listen to it and listen to see what it was.
I was
just going to say there's some stuff that probably came out on cassette. And I'm just learning this now. I'm new to this, so yeah. If anyone's got any comments, tell me where I get the cassettes.
Yeah, I found the thing that I absolutely love about buying cassettes, especially like job lots of it, is that like there'll always be like one that's been dubbed over, or like I bought a job lot of church tapes. They're like sermons and preachings and church stuff, right? And then I was listening through them, and then one of them's been overdubbed. I'm assuming by whoever owned the tape collection. One of their kids, and it's just this kid sort of singing a weird made-up song with like a badly strummed acoustic guitar in the background. I'm like, it's this weird thing about like you get this like tiny snippet of like really intimate personal history that like no one's ever buying a record that someone's like dubbed at home for fun.
But I was going to say there kind of are little ones like that. If you remember, there used to be. You're not that old, never mind. My dad told me this. They used to be like phone boxes, and what you could do, you put in like your whatever money, record into the microphone in there, and it put it onto a little disc, and you could send a message. So if you ever see any of those at car boot sales or wherever, I always pick them up because that means someone has made an effort to send something to someone. Or whatever, so there'll be a message, or they might play their guitar in a little box in that little phone box at the corner, and they just come out as little like free kind of duck plates. So in that same vein, if you ever see those,
okay, I'll keep an eye out for those.
Yeah, if anyone's watching, they could tell us what they call. Forgot what they call, but they're all branded. They come out the same. So when you see them, you know what they are. It's like it's. You get like 2 minutes.
That's just another thing to start collecting, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm doing it.
I think we've
chatted enough.
I think we've chatted a fair bit.
Fair
Anything enough. You want to shout out? Anything you want to?
Shout out to Polyend because they've got me into, as we were talking about all these bits of kits before. We did a tracker version, which was wicked. I've seen that. I've designed it like the Amiga. It's a P Cannon tracker. Have a search. And just keep an eye out on the label M4. We've got a lot more jungle coming. Big jungle coming soon. Lots of new Amiga stuff, and an album of that kind of music for myself. And some techno releases as well done on the modular. But shout to this place, the very, very special shop that we have. And if you're in Bristol, make sure you come along and see this man and ask them about the modular synthesis.
Sure, well, that's fantastic. Perfect wrap up. There we go. You've done this before.
I've done it before, Jack.
Right, let's.